Get Daddy out. And welcome to our Monday video. A few housekeeping items. Let's see. Number one, we have our Life Day sale. Saturday was my 4-year anniversary for my stroke. And so we have a little Life Day celebration, and we had a little sale. So there were some select pieces that were 50% off. So if you have not taken advantage of that and you'd like to get a jump on your curriculum, now's the time. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to have another one, but now's the time. Probably not going to have another one that big until next year. Anyway. So there's that in our store. And actually, you can go to melissanielsen.com/life and life, Life, and you can get information on it there. It's coming down sometime this morning, probably around lunchtime. So lunchtime Pacific. So just letting y'all know that. And then the other thing is time is ticking for us to keep open Families in Sync. So we're only accepting a few families a month, and the clock is ticking on that one. We'll be closing that probably in the next day or so, because we're getting close to our limit. So and the same with the rhythm reboot. So if that was something they were interested in and getting started on it this month, now would be the time to let us know, because like I said, we're going to be closing that up. And I'm actually, somebody asked me the other day, are you going to have it open every month? And, I'm actually not sure, because we want to make sure that we are not overextending ourselves. And so we will just have to take it as as it comes, because there's so much like intensive, it's Eric and I very intensively working with each person or each family. And so we will definitely be very careful, because we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. So, so that's, again, like I said, if it's something you're interested in, now would be the time to go ahead and let us know, just because I'm not sure. Once it's full for this first month, I'm not sure how long it will be before we'll open it up again. It may be every month for a while, or it may not be. It just depends on sort of our other workload. So I'm just letting everybody know about that. And if you don't know about either of those programs, Families in Sync would be, you can find the information out at melissanielsen.com/sync, so SYNC. And the other one would be melissanielsen.com/reboot. Okay, I think that's everything that was on my announcements list. Now let's talk about appreciation and love. So the reason I was thinking about this topic is a few weeks ago, I was working with a mom, and she'd been struggling a little bit and coming back, and had kind of gone away and then came back to the Waldorf method, and in her coming back, she said, I just get really frustrated because I don't feel like my kids appreciate me. And I said, they're not supposed to, because they're supposed to love you. They're not supposed to appreciate you yet. So, and it's really easy, common thing to get hung up on. And I have totally been there. Totally been there. I've totally been there in this idea that we do so much for them. Dan, I have spent hours getting this lesson together, hours making this meal, weeks preparing for Christmas, weeks, like whatever it is, insert your piece of poo, because that's what it is there. It is all about them loving you. That's all they're supposed to do with their kids. When they're young, they're supposed to just love you, and you're supposed to love them unconditionally, even when they're jerks. And it's really hard, because kids are going to be jerks on a regular basis, and they're not going to know it because they're still too young to understand that they're being jerks. And they're too young to understand that you have put all this time into it. So really and truly, appreciation comes. And this is not just about childhood. This is about anything. Appreciation comes often when we've either done that job ourselves or had that job pulled away from us, or been thrown into that job and we never have done it before. Like, for instance, I was thinking about we in our church, things are very, we have a lot of jobs that people do. So everybody works collectively together to keep things running. And I know there have been times when I have not had enough appreciation for one job or another until I was put into that position, and I'm like, holy crap, that person did a lot of stuff. And so like that's one example of like as an adult having appreciation for something. As a child, you're not going to have appreciation for things. And like I said, until you've gotten there. So I sort of joked in a couple of videos ago about how I called my mom recently. And, I have 5 kids and 2 are already gone. And they're boys, and even though we had some struggles, like some of this, it was definitely they did not prepare me for my daughter, who I love immensely. She's an amazing human being. But I called my mom a few weeks ago and I said, I am so sorry I was such a jerk when I was 17. Because I know that I was kind of a pain in the butt. And she just laughed and said, oh, it's all relative. It's not a big deal. You turned out to be a good human being, so it's not a big deal. But because I can really and truly appreciate what I put her through now. Like completely appreciated. I didn't appreciate it before. Even as I was growing up, these 2 boys did not appreciate that. In fact, I have grown in so much more love for my mother. I loved her dearly before, but oh my goodness, Mom, if you are listening, you have my heart. I love you, lady. Because I know, like I totally know that it is not an easy road. So when we're talking about our kids appreciating us, don't expect them to appreciate you and what you went through when they were infants until they're holding their own infant, until they've been up all night long with an infant. Don't expect them to appreciate you and what you did for them cooking until they cook for somebody who looks at them and says, I don't want to eat this. Don't expect them to appreciate the lessons that you do until they decide to homeschool for themselves, and until they prepare something for a child and a child says, so sorry, I'm not doing school today. You need to really think about that. What they need to do is they need to love you, and you need to love them, and you need to have that element of peace in your home, and you need to have you need to have that my voice is a little funky this morning. You need to have that piece of unconditional love where they can make a million mistakes and you can pick them back up a million times and hug them and let them know that it's okay. And that's the part that's your job. And their job is to just love you back. Even when they're screaming that they hate you, or even when they're screaming, which I have to tell you, I got 5 kids. Nobody's ever told me they hated me. So I think that's a cultivation issue. We really work to cultivate peace here. But because somebody said that to me the other day, what do you say when your kids say they hate you? I said, I don't know. Nobody's ever said that to me. 5 kids, you'd think that if that was something that was so common in society, like that I have done something that somebody would have said, I hate you. Nope. So I think that it's all about the love and the peace that you're cultivating in your home. You cultivate that in many ways. We've talked about that in other videos. Cultivate that with your rhythm. You cultivate that with how you treat your partner and how that partner treats you, like the 2 of you on it together. You cultivate that by that mutual love and respect between you and your partner and your family unit. You cultivate that in so many ways. And when you can cultivate that among your children, then they will get to a point when they're older, when they're experiencing it, where they can truly, truly appreciate what you've done. And when they truly appreciate what you've done, then that brings it full circle. There are things that I think about my oldest son now, that he's on his own. He's got his own apartment. He's paying his own bills. He's he's sent me this great message this morning. He was super excited. This is a little brag on Harry. So he's been working, he works security for Metro Transit here in San Diego. He's a security guard for the trains and the train stations. And he has been at a station at the college for the last couple of months. And he likes his job. He's still hoping to get on with the post office, but he likes his job and it pays well. And they were opening this new station down at the courthouse. He is like over the moon and excited about, like just rattling everything off about this new station. He's like, I really want to work there. And I really want the station manager to let me work there, or the his manager to let him work there. So he sent me this message this morning. Not only did they restore him Monday through Friday so he can go to church again, he's like over the moon because he's been working Sundays. So he is over the moon. He gets to have his life back in normal schedule Monday through Friday. And they gave him, he is the first officer at this new station. So he is over the moon. And so his employer likes him, and he likes it. And he has true appreciation because of the hard work he's doing. He has true appreciation for the hard work that his father and I have done for for his entire life, for the work that it takes to maintain a household. He has appreciation for it because he's doing it. He didn't have appreciation for it before. My son that's 19, who is an amazing human being too, although all the grays are from him. All the grays are Jacob, every one of them. But I still love him. Like, he's an amazing human being. He doesn't have that appreciation yet because he still lives with his dad. And, he's excited about it. He's excited to move out on his own. He's excited he'd like to, I think, leave Utah and do, he's a big into geology. He'd like to go do something really exciting, but he doesn't have that appreciation of needing to do things for himself yet. He works and he has a job and he has a good work ethic, but he still doesn't have that need to take care of himself. So because he doesn't have that need to take care of himself, he doesn't fully appreciate everything that my ex-husband has done for him, that Eric and I have done for him. He doesn't fully appreciate that yet because he's not in that place. He's not in that place. So when you get to that place, then you appreciate it. And so before that, he just has to love me and I just have to love him. So I guess I hope that my message to you today is don't be so hard on yourself. Goodness, don't be so hard on yourself. When your kids don't appreciate what you do, take a deep breath and just take some heart in that someday they will. And that someday that they will be able to pat you on the back and say, Mom, I really appreciate you. And that day is going to take a while. It's going to take them, becoming a grown-up. It's going to take them needing to do things for themselves. It's going to take a lot of different steps, but that's part of their development. And that's part of that sweet relationship that you're working to build. So I suppose as you walk on today, even when they're ungrateful, even when they don't appreciate you, just love them. And you definitely have to work on gratitude in your home. That's how it builds. That's how you help them understand it. But gratitude, again, I think is different than appreciation. Appreciation is a much different, deeper soul sense, where gratitude is very, it's almost surface. And I don't say that so it's not trite, but it's almost a very surface thing. Like, yes, I'm grateful for the home I live in, and I'm grateful for the roof over my head and the food. That's you're grateful for those material pieces and the things that you have. Appreciation is a much deeper level. And I listened to Esther Hicks on a regular basis and was thinking about she has a really good one with Dr. Wayne Dyer called Co-Creating at Its Best. And I've been listening to that off and on since it came out, so a couple of years. And one of the things that she said that struck me is that it's not just about being grateful, it's about appreciating. And that's where I've sort of been building this whole idea about appreciation versus love, because we can love something, even as adults, we can love something. We can be grateful for something, but there's that extra piece, that extra depth when it comes to truly appreciating something, truly appreciating. And it's usually something that somebody will do for us. Or because we, one of the things I truly appreciate is San Diego. And it sounds silly, but I appreciate San Diego because it can't snow here. I know that sounds really crazy, but because I have lived on Hoth, aka southeastern Idaho and northern Utah, especially southeastern Idaho where it snows in July, because I've lived there, I can truly appreciate a land where it can't snow. I mean, it could snow. I think it's snowed here like once in 100 years, but I'd be like, haha, it's melting tomorrow. If it's snowed here, there's no way it would be sticking. And so I can truly appreciate that because I know what the other side is like. I know what the other, I know what the alternative is. I can truly appreciate being at the beach because I know what it's like to be landlocked. So appreciation is a much deeper, it's much more than being thankful. It's much more than sort of loving something. So Allison says, hey, it doesn't sound crazy. I live in Canada. It snowed 2 weeks ago. I'm so sorry, Allison. And I know I have a lot of friends that really love the snow. And my son that lives in Utah, he loves the snow. I just can't. It's really funny because I had a stroke 4 years ago, but I had it here. And I do think my body was like, I got here because we were here only like 5 months, or let's see, we moved here in October, at the end of October, and I had my stroke in April. I think my body was like, oh, lady, you can breathe out here. It's okay. If you're going to have a stroke anywhere, it's going to be here. I may have died if we had had it in Utah, Idaho. And I don't say that like I definitely, I'm not being silly when I say that. I don't know that I could have survived the intensity of what I needed afterwards to be able to really, heal. Allison says, it's okay. My husband and I are planning on moving to Vancouver Island. Eric and I have been looking at Vancouver. It's a nice area. It's a nice area. And I think the housing costs are about what they are in San Diego. So anyway, Vancouver is a nice area. He loves it. He's been in Canada and he likes it there a lot. So we're thinking about that. And Jamie says, great reminder on how to distinguish between love and appreciation. I think I was subconsciously getting stuck on the difference, which was affecting my attitude with my kids. Thank you. You're welcome. I think it's really easy for that to affect our attitude with our kids. It just happens. I think about my parenting journey and being in this place of where I am, I can say that I understand the difference. It's taken me some years. So if I can help anybody appreciate it or understand it earlier, then I feel like I've done my job, because I do think that I think that our relationship really changes with our parents, whether they were good parents or bad parents. Our relationship really changes with them when we are going through the exact pieces that they went through. And so, I've really, really been able to harness that understanding of appreciation from a parental aspect. Like I said, as we've been helping Ellie, like she's getting ready to launch. And so, it's definitely been a learning process. So Allison says, oh no, sorry to hear that. Are you all healed? Yes. So it's 4 years. It's been 4 years since my stroke. And, there's some lasting stuff that will probably always be there, but I feel better than I have ever felt. And so, yes, I am. So thank you. And thank you to everybody that's watching that sent me love letters over this weekend. Thank you. Thank you. So appreciate that. And Allison also says, also happy to hear that you're into Esther Hicks and Abraham. What you appreciates. Yes, ma'am, it does. It really does. It does. The more you appreciate, the more you have opportunities to appreciate, the more you, and like I said, so my challenge to you today is to walk through your life today, just like walk through life. And I am challenging you to truly, truly appreciate. Look for opportunities to appreciate, not just and somebody had mentioned on one of our groups the other day about how much she gets caught up in her own journey and frustrated how she gets at her husband and frustrated at this and frustrated at that, because she feels like she's got so much on her shoulders. And then her husband, I think, is deployed or out of town or something. And she had to make some decisions on her own about something that he always does. It was like something that was big financial. They had some rental property or something, and it was something big financial that he usually takes care of, and he was not available. And so she had to take care of it. And she said that she spends a lot of time wishing that he's understood her plight, but now she really understands his. And it doesn't mean that your plight is any less. It just means that you can really appreciate his plight too. And honestly, in a partnership, in a marriage, that's what being equally yoked is all about. You can appreciate each other for what each other does. And you love each other, and you know that if that person wasn't there, you would have to take on duties that that you wouldn't want to. And if you weren't there, he would have to take on duties that he wouldn't want to. So there's definitely has to be that appreciation aspect in your partnership. And so I think that really, as you walk forward today, I want you to truly, truly look at ways to have appreciation for things. And again, look at your partner, especially if you want to murmur. Whenever I start to murmur, I might get 30 seconds of murmuring out, like being frustrated. And then I have to go, oh, wait a minute. I back it up. And it starts with, okay, make your gratitude list. The gratitude list then moves to an appreciation list. And so you can absolutely, it builds. So Nina says, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, sweetie pie. I think appreciation also involves being present, which is a struggle. It absolutely involves being present. And, that's where the difference between a gratitude list that you can sort of rattle off and true appreciation comes. I do think that when you're stuck, starting with a gratitude list is super helpful, because when you can start with that gratitude list, it starts to chip it away, and then you can move into appreciation. So she also says, slowing down, all things I'm being taught by being ill lately. Sometimes we are forced into appreciation. Yes, ma'am. That is exactly one of the biggest lessons from my stroke. Exactly. And I have to say with that, one of the things that, excuse me, one of the people that I truly appreciated when I had my stroke was my first assistant, Amber. So Amber Hallowell was our assistant for a long time. And honestly, she kept Wildlife Essentials floating while I was trying to recover. And it just was, I was in such deep appreciation for her. And I think her for me too, because she was taking on a lot more. And so it definitely deepened our friendship in many ways. So I think that we have, and I have to tell you now, my assistant, Kelly, I couldn't do anything without her. I appreciate everything that she has taken off my plate. I love Kelly to pieces. And there's such a deep appreciation when you know that the person that's helping you is somebody that's taking things so that you don't have to do them, especially if you've struggled through trying to get them done. It definitely is super helpful when you have somebody then in that capacity that can absolutely take some things off your plate. So super deep appreciation for both of those women. And Kelly is a rock star. Kelly does so much for us. I love you, honey. I'm so excited to see you. Kelly is coming to San Diego in a few weeks. So be prepared to see both of us on the screen together. Anyway, so that I do think that if you can step back and really look at your life today and look at areas that you can appreciate, especially if you are struggling. Look at areas that you really truly can appreciate. Things will lighten. Your load will lighten. So that's what I had to talk about today. I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about next week. It seems like I had a topic kicking around in my head, but I don't remember it. So you'll have to catch the event. We'll put an event together as I remember it. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And like I said, if you are catching us later, hop over if you're still interested in our sale. We have a few select items that are 50% off. And by a few, I mean a lot of items that are 50% off. Not everything, but a lot of things. And so that is going to tie up this morning. So you can access that at melissanielsen.com/life. And I think that's all. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week. Bye now. It's so weird that it made me do it this way.